Hey everybody, we're live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to everybody out there in Arsenal now. Big up to everybody in 101. I want to introduce Fran to the community. Fran, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh, just thank you so much for inviting me on. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity. Nice to meet you all. My name's Fran, and my main thing that I do is like Arsenal art. So I painted like that behind me, and I've got another one somewhere. Either way, I just paint the players because I'm just Arsenal obsessed, basically. So this is my ESR one. But besides,
Oh,
oh yeah, but you can see all that if you my website's called that behind me, and there's all my art on there and stuff. But the main thing is I just do that because I love football, I love Arsenal, I love talking football, and even to the extent where I'll spend like 30 hours drawing one of our players. I just can't get enough of it. And I love talking about it with anyone and everyone. I'm so excited to talk about this match. This is like the best day ever to come onto a new channel and meet you.
it is one of a kind. I mean, my experience yesterday, I've only had a few days like that where I mean, I've gone to Highbury games and I've been a season ticket holder at Emirates since when the stadium opened. So it's like I've seen all the pigs and
No
troughs, all the
way.
good and bad. And I think I've had days like that yesterday that I can count on one hand where it's just been so special. And everything just came together yesterday. Really, really proud. Once again, I have to say thank you very much to my cousin Daniel for helping out yesterday. Shout out to my godson Shane, and obviously, thank you for the Arteta family for hosting us and giving us the opportunity to enjoy the
How
game
did
with
that
you.
come about?
So,
How like that's mad. How did that happen?
well, my godson Shane, he's in the same class as Mikel Arteta's youngest
No
son. Yeah.
way.
So,
Oh
and
my
I've been trying to get him to the games for ages. Unfortunately, getting tickets this season is like you have to commit a crime in order to get a ticket. It is
honestly,
that bad. Oh,
me and my boyfriend are 96,000th on the waiting list for a season ticket.
oh
But
my
but but,
word.
but his boss has one and he couldn't make it like to the North London Derby, so we were able to go to that, which was nuts. But yeah, how
Oh,
was it? How was the
it,
atmosphere?
it was. I mean, because I got to enjoy it with them, it was special. Normally, when you sit in those places, there's not much of an atmosphere because it's very corporate. And
Yeah,
so that's the reason why, like, I can go and sit there anytime I want. Man, but my friend Liz was there. I used to get access, and they just say to me, Apollo, anytime you want to come, just send us a message. We'll get you in, and it's fine. And so I used to do that a lot in the first few years when the stadium opened. And as the years went on, I thought, but when I sit in my seat, I've got the energy from the fans. I've got it.
yes,
I love it just being around all the fans, and it felt
yeah.
like more of I know it's sort of sitting in the caves versus going into the palace. But sometimes it's like you get bored in the palace, don't you? You read all them fairy tale stories, and it's like I'm bored because I've got everything I want. So, and that's just kind of not what I like. So over the years, I kind of avoided going into club. But because I knew my godson was there, I was like, no, I've got to go because he was sitting by himself at some point because he was it was with Arteta's sons, and then in a space by himself. So I thought, no, I got to come in and sit there with him, and it was brilliant, man. And when I got in there, the energy just lifted because I started raising my voice. Brilliant.
Amazing.
Absolutely brilliant. So today, guys, and let me shout out to everybody as well. Cam, what's going on? He said, "Boss man, we need answers on Ray." Yeah, we're coming to that. We're coming to that. He said, "I can't make up my mind whether he had a good or a bad game," and he says, "It's the performance. What's it? The performance of the lesser games that's annoying me. We just straight up don't have enough creativity in the midfield of the park right now. I mean, obviously, a lot of that was there last year, but we have never seen Thomas Partey in the midfield role this season yet. So there are changes, guys, and we just have to warm up to it." 18 says, "Looking forward to meeting the wonderful Goonerette." Well, there she is. You're going to
I
know a
hope
lot
I,
about her tonight.
I hope I don't
Emerson
disappoint.
Emerson says, "Good evening, Apollo and Fran." Yeah, Emerson's big member of the 101 community. Shout out, big history buffs. He knows so much about Arsenal. He follows the youth team as well. I live in Boreham Wood, so you know, you're kind of local to me, man. I was down at Bournemouth VIP this weekend watching them play Chesterfield, so that was fun. Me and the guys there, yeah, because I supply Bournemouth as one of my customers.
Oh, sick.
So yeah. So that was long overdue. I know it sounds great, but Fran, believe me, that was long overdue. Shout out to James. He said, "Big up to the Gunners, unbeaten streak." Yeah, for real, man. We got Facebook says user says if Alvera scores that one, we lose. I'm not sure, but yeah. And wasn't that the only shot that they kind of really had? And then he says Raya got away with some. I think it would be fair to see Ramsdale at the bridge. Right. Okay. So let's first of all talk about our first topic here. But before we do, Fran, what was your thoughts overall of the game?
It was no. Hold on. Talk 1 second. My light just fell.
Oh my god! Yeah. Funny enough, you know what? I tried the lights. I actually have a light here. And I've kind of never needed to use them because I have 4 spotlights up here. But yeah, I think if I had a light, then my video quality would probably improve. And it's something I've been trying to get around to, but never really focused on it. And look at it. I'm looking at this damn light in here. I can't even tell you where the mains is for it, though. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Sorry. That was such a bad start. Okay, I'm never coming back on here again. Okay, anyway, going into the match, I was actually on the preview. I was telling everyone like, calm, what we really want to see. So I looked back at our performance in the Community Shield and how Wolves beat them just last week. And the one thing we come up with a few points, like things that Arsenal should do if we wanted to actually win. So we've beaten them, never in the Prem, but 3 times in the last 8 years in cup competitions. And in cup competitions, it's like a very different style of play, isn't it? You firstly are playing almost not to lose and let them have the ball a little bit and just really focus on not conceding, and chances will come. And at home at the Emirates, our chances do come. Like, we've scored in every Emirates home game. But the problem has been that we've also conceded in every Emirates home game. So I was really stressing in that preview, I want to see like a defensive, like, call it negative, but I just want us to focus on the defense. And then I have faith, like, if we're patient, we will get a goal. And so seeing the lineup, I was actually quite happy with it because obviously Jorginho, defensive players, keep the ball out of the net first and then build into the game. And that ended up happening. It was such a maturity from Arteta because he's so used to going there, isn't he? Like, and wanting to show, his old boss, like, look at my attacking football, and it never works. So we played it like a cup game, and some people calling it boring, but I thought it was a masterclass. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to come into that now because we've got the banner up here for defensive and midfield tactics. And so as I said, you a lot of the guys. By the way, guys, thank you for my video vlog, which I uploaded last night. 1,000 views on that already. So I know you guys love it when I'm at the stadium and I'm doing my vlogs. But in my preview actually, which was Thursday night, and my pregame, I was looking at this as in exactly what you just said. We've always gone and thrown hell for leather. Sometimes you have to go against your own philosophies in order to make steps forward. And since the day Arteta's walked in here, what's the first thing he says? He says, my game plan is I want to dominate teams. I want to dominate teams. Now that works until you come up against teams that are press resistant. And unfortunately, that's where we've gone wrong against Liverpool. That's where we've gone wrong against City, because when we lose the ball and we get beaten on the counter-attack, we let goals in. And even Manchester United, a lot of things, and this came way back from Manchester United this season when we did exactly that. We tried to press Onana, and he was so good in goal that day. And it made it difficult, and they were trying to suck us in. Then bang, they got Rashford on the counter-attack, 1-0 Man United. And then Arteta changed his tactics in that game. But what I liked about this game was the template for the City game was in the Charity Shield. Yes. That's where it was. Yeah, right in the Charity Shield. That's where it was kind of like a warm-up to this And then when Arteta saw that worked, he was like, right, gotcha. And so then when we saw these tactics here, and it was really like a chess match. Some people was like, it's boring. Really? When you have two chess masters trying to do the same moves over and over, one guy does one move and then the next guy does one move and then he matches it. And then we saw counter press, we saw situational pressing, and then we saw them trying to basically goad each other. And I'm going to come up. Sorry, go on.
So I thought they started, like, they actually showed us a huge amount of respect as well. So it was both teams basically really solid defensively, just kind of shifting this way, that way, like making sure not to be the first one to concede. And, there were so few chances in the game. And I think it was just, as you're saying, a defensive masterclass, like from both teams. It was so fascinating, I thought.
It was, and the reason and we're talking tactics now, and a couple of guys have asked me a few questions in the forum. So this is one of the questions in terms of, was it a boring game? And actually it wasn't, because as I said, it was a chess match. And what Pep and Arteta was essentially doing is they were trying to sit with the ball at their feet, playing at the back long enough for the other team to commit the press. And once they would commit the press, then they would break it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to come on to David Raya in the second subject of what we liked. But in terms of what we liked, the first subject really was the tactics, because you was matching Pep with these tactics minute by minute. And you were showing him that you could do exactly what he could do, and then you could counter press. And so we were trying to suck them in. When they had the ball, they were trying to suck us in, and neither team was buying it. And we had this stalemate between two heavyweight boxers. And it was almost like, you were waiting for someone to throw the haymaker, and they wouldn't. They would just keep up with their guards. And that's what the game was for the majority of the game. And it was just absolutely brilliant to watch. It was so good to watch because we were a part of that. Yeah. And that's what made it special. It was like, I can't, if people talking about he can't game manage, doesn't know tactics, he doesn't know what he's doing. There's still a lot of people on the fence with Arteta like that. And yesterday proved to those fans he's grown.
That's me though, because my criticism has always been against City, and I was stressing it so much in the preview. Like, we cannot just go out and try to dominate the ball, play how we usually do, on the front foot, attacking. They will just rip us apart. They've got Haaland on their team. So, I can't even remember your question. I just got totally distracted.
I mean, it's like really just talking about the defensive tactics and what we were doing in the midfield. And it really, the team sheet, a lot of people were surprised to see Jorginho. And Jorginho, as I said in my pre-game, he was brought in there to be the double pivot with Declan Rice. And what that was doing, guys, with them not having Rodri, what we were doing was essentially creating overloads, and they couldn't handle it. City couldn't handle it. And things like that is just like, and look, Jorginho didn't have the best of games, but he did exactly what he was required to do by the manager. And it's things like that that was just so, I mean, as you said, Fran, the best striker in the world didn't even get a shot on target. Not one. And the whole team, 4 shots and 1 on target. We're talking about the European champions here.
We just defended so well, and that's just what's been lacking at home. And it was just so amazing to see that, we can do that too. I know we're great at attacking, but damn, like, I forgot we could do this. But, talking about Haaland, apparently he came off, like, into the press tunnel and stuff, like, fuming. Apparently, like, his hoodie was on and, like, he had his headphones and he just, like, wouldn't even talk to anyone. And, that's quite nice to see. Sorry.
I saw it. One of the things at the end of the game on the final whistle, as the Man City players were walking the tunnel, they were arguing with each other. And Pep came in to try and calm them down. And it was just like, they were not having it. And this was just after Arteta came to congratulate and, shakes his hand. They were losing it. They were losing it. I know, it's such a brilliant feeling.
We look like the more mature team. They were rattled.
All right, so guys, we're going to move on to our number 2. And this is, I've had more questions on this topic than anything today. And it really has to be said, and it really has got to be adjusted. Do you want to say, because I'm going to be quite a bit on this. So is there anything you want to say about David Raya?
All right, I'll go real quick and then just give you the stage. So I'm all for the two really high level competitive keepers playing off. I've always been for it. I used to play like regional hockey. I know it's different, but I was in goal. There was one other goalkeeper that was just a little bit better than me, but then sometimes I was a little bit better than her, and we just really pushed each other on and like took it in turns depending on who's playing best. So I'm all for it. And as long, but I hope Ramsdale does get the games. Like, where if Raya does have a bad game, as long as it stays fair, then I think it's great. But there were some dodgy moments. however, Arteta gave him mad props, saying he was just doing exactly what I told him to do, and
which is what I was going to come on to.
Yeah. So go on.
So guys, first of all, a couple of good questions there. James talking about Raya. Raya seems not to be confident at the start of games, but he's fine form in the second half. Tex is really up for subbing. He won't sub him because it's quite simply Raya's doing, as Fran says, exactly what he wants to do. And another thing, guys, I do want to say to the community, we can't forget, guys, that Aaron Ramsdale has played Man City many times in an Arsenal shirt, and he hasn't done very well. So I know a lot of these people are saying, "Oh, time to make a substitution." Why? Ramsdale's already proved he can't do the job against City, and quite frankly, what Raya did was a job against Man City. And pardon me if I didn't remember, but didn't we get a clean sheet? The overall factor is this, guys, and this is what we have to discuss as a fan base. When I was sitting there and I was watching Raya with the ball and the fans starting to get at his back because of the options, that didn't make it easy on Raya. It didn't make it easy on the tactics because, guys, the tactics was for him to suck Man City in. That's by design. And the fans getting on his back to play the ball out, that makes it difficult for Raya to do his job. And I just want to say a couple of things that happened in that situation. One was he tried to rush one of the passes and quite frankly nearly got in trouble. The other one was when he nearly let the goal in when he shot it and Foden closed him down. Well, that wasn't actually his fault, guys. It was Gabriel's fault because Gabriel was supposed to go forward to Zinchenko on that pass, and Gabriel decided to turn and go back to Raya, and Raya already had Foden closing him down. So it was like you can't exactly blame Raya for that situation. After, I know you guys, some of the guys can only see it on a TV view, but if you see it in the stadium, Zinchenko was ripping into Gabriel after that. He was screaming at him because he's like, bro, you got to come to me. You can't go back and put Raya under pressure. And it was like, it was crazy what was going on at that point. Steve-O, is that a friend of yours?
Yeah, we're like Twitter friends.
Excellent, good. Shout out to Steve-O in the chat. And he was still too relaxed. Yes, because he had to be. If you're not relaxed as a goalkeeper and confident in what you can do, then you'll panic. And I think in certain situations, what you guys saw yesterday is it was rough. The first 20 minutes was hard because he was trying to implement that game plan. Mm-hmm. And what I want to say to you guys now is, first of all, number one, he did the right thing. David Raya, by design, did everything he was supposed to do. And there was 3 situations that I want to point out for you guys. There was 3 situations where Man City did start to come on. What did he do? He hit 70-yard passes over to Jesus, wide on the right side, and completely broke the press. And that is what they were trying to do, guys. That's the tactics. That's how it's drawn up on the board. And that's what Raya did. So while some of the fan base and some of you guys are saying he was nervous, he was holding on the ball for too long, you know, we can't have that. That was what he was supposed to do. And there was times he actually proved that it worked. Guys, for me, he's still the number 1 choice. As I said, this guy's hit 118. If you watched my video yesterday on the vlog, I pointed out the numbers to you. Oh, by the way, Fran, I'm a big stats man. The one thing you learn about me is I love my stats. He's hit 118 passes into the final third. And the one thing that I was saying about that as an intangible is that he's had Ivan Toney. So I was like, it's quite easy when you've got Ivan Toney, right? No, because he was doing that with Jesus. And he was doing that with Havertz against Fulham when he took the number 9 role. So we've seen it happen, guys, situationally, where he can make those passes. But the trick, guys, and this is what we have to understand, is you have to sell it. You've got to goad. You know, you see them cartoons where the guy takes off his shorts, turns around and wiggles his bum. Yeah, you've got to sell it. You've got to goad the person to come at you in order for those tactics to work. Because if you don't, City stays at home and makes it very difficult for us to come at them. I thought it was a decent performance. I thought he was shaky, and I agree with all of you lot. He was shaky in the first 20 minutes, but after that, he got his hand on it, and I thought we saw something really good. And it led up to us being able to counter press and do all the other things we wanted to. Fran?
Can I add to that? Also, he keeps not necessarily actually he did in this game. Raya keeps coming out and playing like as a fifth defender,
Sweeper, yeah,
and so. And also, like, the amount of like passing he's doing as if he's another defender. So maybe that's the way he's wanted to play with Ramsdale, but doesn't think Ramsdale can like deal with that kind of pressure and, as you say, goading them and having it so late. Because I mean, you're right. I'm not sure Rambo could do that because he does tend to panic a little bit. So you make your football knowledge is just like, and your understanding of tactics is like outrageous. I've
been doing this a long time, girl.
Damn.
I've been doing this a long time. Steve O says, fair play to Raya. He didn't let his hiccups deter him. Agreed. Continuing to play out from the back and as instructed. And remember, he is 27, so he does have a few more years on Aaron Ramsdale. But the reason why I put them both at the same stage is because the expectations when you're playing for Sheffield or Bournemouth are different to Arsenal. The expectations for Raya are different when you're playing for Brentford than they are with Arsenal. When you're playing with Arsenal, every minute of every game, you've got to be switched on. That's the standard. That's the levels. And last season, and I'm not talking about mistakes leading to goals, I'm just talking about mistakes. We saw Ramsdale had 6 of them and Raya had 2. So, you know, Ramsdale makes 3 times more mistakes in terms of goalkeeping than Raya does. And as we've talked about with regards to Leno was the most mistake-prone goalkeeper in the Premier League. Xhaka made more mistakes leading to goals than any other outfield player. And over the years, those things improve and you upgrade and you upgrade and you upgrade and you upgrade. And then you're now fitted with a team with Raya where you can start to cut down on the mistakes. And actually, guys, isn't it weird that in 8 games, we've allowed 6 goals in. We're tied City with the #1 defense in the league. And 3 of those goals we gave away. Saka made a pass leading to a goal. So did Jorginho and so did Havertz. So isn't it weird that we're sitting here talking about in 8 games, we've let 6 goals in and half of those goals was our own mistakes. So really, without the mistakes, 3 goals is all we've let in 8 games. It's crazy.
It was really nice to see the lack of sloppy mistakes in this game. Like they properly were concentrated and switched on defensively, and it just shows that perhaps it is just like overconfidence, a bit of complacency in our other games at home because they know how good they are. But this match, they showed us like, yeah, we are that good. It
was just an incredible performance. And guys, we're talking about Man City. We're talking about the best team in Europe. And, you know, after the game, Fran, and I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but after the game, all we heard was the City fans talking about, oh, but we've got injuries. We don't have Rodri. Excuse me?
Spare me.
Excuse me? We've been playing you over the last few years without most of our stars. No Thomas Partey. And then last year, we lost Saliba for the last 10 games. And, which I talked about in my game preview, this is the first time Arsenal's played Manchester City with Zinchenko and Jesus. So all the times last year, remember, Zinchenko didn't start in the FA Cup. Jesus was injured he missed nearly 4 months. So there were situations, and then Zinchenko missed the end of the season with injury as well. So in all of that, the 3 games we played City last season, we didn't start those 2 in tandem. So for those 2 ex-Man City players, this was their first game together. So there's a lot of factors in terms of, you know, we started a game with no Saka, no Martinelli, no Thomas Partey. Come on, man.
Don't even forget, like, Jurriën Timber, like arguably like our best defender, has also been out all season. And
exactly.
I just, I hope that the narrative in like the press isn't that just Man City were just like they were there for the taking, they were just poor, missing
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne, all of this and that. They never give us credit.
It's
But
like Crimea River, man, because you know, you talk about these teams with injuries, and it's like we've worn it, worn the t-shirt, we've come top of the league of the injuries, and you know, no one could talk to Arsenal about injuries, man.
we're
Nobody could talk to them about
experts.
injuries. Yeah, exactly. So, guys, number 3, what did we like about this game? William Saliba, our Rolls Royce. Oh my word, guys. I'll go first this time, Fran. This guy is the best defender in the Premier League, bar none. In fact, we have to start talking about world football now. At one stage in the game, I think this was after 12 minutes, him and Haaland was running for a ball that was going out of bounds, and he shoulders Haaland to the floor and then looks at him as if to say, "Get up, bitch." And it's just the way he said it. It was like the dominance of him standing over Haaland to let him know, "I've got you in my pocket today." And Haaland never recovered from that. We're talking about Haaland, guys. We're talking about Haaland. And guys, there's a stat that's out now that says that Saliba hasn't been beaten 1-on-1 yet this season. And he's only surrendered 2 fouls for the whole season. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible, guys. So look, I just want to say for now, I think he's top 5 in the world. And I would probably put him number 2, maybe 1 or 2. You've got to think about Rudiger, who was at Chelsea, has gone to Madrid. Lightning quick, reads the ball well. Van Dijk, I know some people are saying he's not the same player, but for me, it's hard to live up to the expectations, the ridiculous standards that he set in the first place. Let's be honest, yeah. And this was half a decade ago, so for me, it's still a quality player. David Alba, and then it's between really Ruben Diaz and Saliba. And if I'm picking a team, I'm picking Saliba over Diaz all day long. So for me, I've probably got him as number 1 in the world. France?
Oh, number 1 in the world. Oh, I don't know if that's like too far, but maybe I'm just scared to like say that. You know, it's just the trauma of us, like with big chest, like last year. You know, we're gonna win the league. Saliba's the best in the world, and then just get embarrassed. But I think I've got faith in this player that he wouldn't embarrass us, and I actually like stand with you. Definitely top 5, because I think he's shown in the big games. That's the most important thing, that he doesn't. Because the criticism with our team is like the bottling under pressure, like weak mentality thing. But in these big games, he like goes up a level, which is just, I'm amazed by him. As you're saying, absolute Rolls Royce. Haaland had, was it 1 shot? And it wasn't even on target. He had like 0.0 XG. He was embarrassed. Haaland was absolutely embarrassed. As you say, he never recovered after that. He was fuming after the game, like he's hanging his head in shame. Saliba schooled him. I just can't say enough good about him. Him and Gabriel, of course, like the partnership is like fantastic as well. But he's for such a young player as well. We don't even think about that, like in terms of world standings. He's so young, and he's to be this composed and this mature. He looks like he could be like 29, something. Like the calmness that he has in these big games. He doesn't let the occasions get to him. He's just elite. Yeah.
It's his fortitude. He's just a tower of. We're talking about people talking about Haaland being 6'4", and you know he's got all the speed and he's got all of this. Saliba's 6'4" too, bro. and he overpowers. So he's played 35 games for Arsenal, and in those 35 games, I can only count one guy who's had the better of him, and that was Ivan Toney last season. And Ivan Toney's the best hold-up striker in the Premier League. Yeah, as far as hold-up play goes, there is nobody better than Ivan Toney. Now that doesn't mean Ivan Toney is the best. I certainly don't rate him as the best, and I think that Arsenal should go in for maybe Victor Osimhen over Toney, because I think Toney's goals have been oversold. He scored 27 penalties for Brentford, and if you take the penalties out last season, he scored the same amount of goals as Jesus. The difference is Toney played 33 games, Jesus only played in 24. So he scored the same amount of goals as Jesus, and he played 9 games more. That doesn't make him prolific, guys. And so our fan base are going crazy because, Fran, when it comes to buying players, we don't care as long as we spend money. Yeah, that's basically the Arsenal fan base, and they're looking at Ivan Toney like he's the answer. He's the
Yeah, no, on that, I was like getting sold by that, and people saying like, bring in Ivan Toney, like some of the big YouTubers, and then that does like get you because you're like, oh, maybe he is like the answer. But then I'll be listening to other opinions that actually I'm starting to more agree with. You want someone who's even better than Jesus, so that Jesus becomes the backup striker and is the one pushed to the next level, rather than someone who is about the same level and is better than Nketiah, just better than Nketiah. You want someone better than Jesus and we should be in for these players like your Ottomans, the world-class guys. I can't think of, I had what, like, I know they're not like for sale, but like Vinicius Junior, guys like that. Having a complete mind blank, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. So I'm going to show you my stat. And as I said, as you come to know me, you know I'm a stat man. I love my stats. So I'm going to show you something already seen because I've shown it to them many times before. If it can come up here now, guys, where are you? Having a little bit of a slow screen today, guys. So did you know, Fran, that in Premier League history, Gabriel Jesus is in the top 10 of goals and assists per 90 minutes?
That's absolutely.
And no other fan will tell you this, by the way. They'll say, Jesus, he's not clinical. But you know what it is with Jesus, Fran? It's his assists. His assists is, if you take out Thierry Henry, there's not a single player in this group that has more assists than Gabriel Jesus. You've got that factor with him where he's able to manage that. Look at last season, 24 games, 7 assists and 11 goals. So he had a hand in 24 games. He had a hand in 18 goals.
Yeah, I mean, our team does look. He brings out the best in all the players around him. We know that he's just here, there, everywhere, linking up with everyone. I can't help but think I want someone who he can assist that's a bit more of a goal scorer, like a Fox, maybe Vlahovic, someone like that. A bit more, so that all these elite like assisters we've got in our team, and someone, I guess like a Haaland, I suppose. But then that changes. But anyway, that stat, no, you left me speechless. I would have never ever guessed, because I mean, I guess I just see like these last season like missed chances and stuff, and you don't bear in mind, like, that's crazy. I might have to steal that from you.
And so guys, let's see what the guys are saying in the chat as we've had our thoughts on William Saliba. It's again, Facebook user. I'm gonna have to go to, because I can't see who's. By the way, guys, when you're on Facebook, there's a waiver at the top of the heading that says StreamYard would like you to display your name, and you give permission, and that way we'll be able to see who's actually posting. So they say this proves Saliba was ready to start since the get-go. I stand by with the point that he didn't need the loans. We needed him then. Maybe, but yeah, maybe. But didn't we buy Ben White for 50 million? So it's not like we didn't have anybody that we couldn't put there. But yeah, and then you wouldn't have known that he would have stood up to Mbappe and all them guys there, and forget that it's the French league, but he stood up against some big time players. Look, I think they did the right thing. I think the loans did exactly what they needed to do. And again, you have to remember, always think intangibles, guys. His mother had passed away and he wanted to go back home, and he was uncomfortable. He wasn't settled. And Edu knew that. And part of the reason why all this was done was to facilitate Saliba as a player as well. They wanted him in an environment that he felt comfortable in. We all know what happened with Torreira when he came to Arsenal, didn't we? Torreira, Uruguayan, was homesick the whole time, just didn't like the country, just wanted to go home. And so it happens, guys. But when your mum passes away, I get it. You're 21. Actually, he was probably younger at the time. He was 20. And he wanted to be in an environment closer to his family, in his home country. So it's more than just about football. And I think they did the right thing, guys. Any thoughts on that, Fran?
No, that's a really good point. And I have been particularly impressed with like the all-round approach that Arteta and his team show, like when dealing with players. Like we saw even with Raya when they gave that shirt to his granddad and stuff, and like the real emphasis on like their like mental like comfort and confidence as well. Just an all-pronged approach to making these players the best they can be. And part of sending Saliba back, I think, is to let him like grow as like a man and like fully like grow up and get that calmness, that confidence that we now see. I mean, it might have just been too soon for him to come into the Prem, aged like 19. Go like, especially as a defender, like a crucial central defender, go and get that experience, go and get that life experience. It's turned out really beautifully. I was so worried though. Do you remember when there was all that like chat in the press, like, oh, he doesn't want to come back to Arsenal and stuff? But no.
So you're gonna. There's a thing that happened on the channel over that time. Tony Cox, one of our pundits here, one of our panelists, he hosts the away games because I'm at the stadium, so I can't host the away games. So he normally hosts them. And actually, I've known him for about 44 years. I used to go to school with him.
You are not older than 44. Sorry, no way.
Yeah, I am. So I used to have this thing where I used to say to the fan base, Saliba might get to a point where he would never play for Arsenal. And it's just like, everyone was like, no, Apollo, no, don't do that to us. So this one is from Guna Matters. Guna Matters is part of the back five that we run every 2 weeks, guys. So shout out to you. Says, hey, Apollo, hope you're good, mate. Hi to the lovely lady as your guest. Yep. Yeah, you're gonna come to know who he is as well. All of these guys are in the forum, so you'll be able to chat to them as well.
I'll be there.
Yep. This is Ebony as well. You'll get to meet Ebony. Ebony is our only female panelist. So if you join us for more shows, you'll be able to sort of have sessions with her as well. She says we do need a prolific striker in January. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of money at stake though. There's a lot of money for FFP, so we have to overcome that as well. But yeah, if we can get one, like Vlahovic or anything, or whatever, if we can get one, do it. Steve Ross says, not surprised by that Jesus stat. Both City and Arsenal midfielders have scored hatfuls when he's playing because he drags defenders all over the place with his energy, creating space. 100%. I love your comments, Steve-O. Love your comments tonight. Goodamata says, Saliba is as calm as a cucumber, bro. Very strong on the ball. He doesn't get enough credit for that, does he? He doesn't get enough credit for his ball skills and bringing it out of the back. So it's really crazy on that. So guys, let's talk about. I'm gonna have to do this one manually because I didn't get it set up. Let's talk about what really won the game: the subs. Woo, woo, woo. Fran, you can go first on this one.
I was thrilled, first of all, by what point in the game we brought them on. You know, sometimes we're complaining that it's like 85th minute, stuff like last throw of the dice type thing, but it's nice and early, pre-planned substitutions, 70th minute or so, and Party coming on immediately. That's just, as a fan, you're like, yes, we just know like how good he is. Basically.
We got them.
And there'd been, you know, you're worrying a little bit about Zinchenko. He's playing so well, but there's always that defensive worry. Was this just after he brought on Doku? Or was it just after Pep?
Yeah.
So I can't remember. Yeah. So Arteta subbed Zinni off in response to Pep bringing on someone who was just like attacking down Zinchenko's side. And he goes, right, you're getting Tomiyasu. Because Tomiyasu is so defensively disciplined and rigid. He's so well drilled, and he takes that defensive duty. Like, although I say that, and he's up scoring goals at the other end.
He's trying to be inverted, isn't he? If you watch him play for the whole of the season, he's tried to push up there and be inverted. That's why he headed the ball in for Havertz.
It was such a like nice surprise, but I was just like, whoa, I'm not used to seeing that from you. But I suppose that's just the next area of his game to develop, because defensively he's so disciplined, as I was saying. So that brings you a bit of confidence and is a little bit of a like screw you to Pep. Like, oh, you think you can make me worried with Doku? Have Tomiyasu.
That's right. And remember, guys, last season Tomiyasu put in a masterclass man of the match performance against Liverpool when we won that game. Took Salah completely out of the game, and so he does have that in him. And I mentioned today in the forum, guys, are we forgetting that when Tomiyasu was starting before Ben White at right back, people were talking about he was a top 3 right back in the league? Are we forgetting that? This is the same player, guys, and the injury issues have been what's really been holding him back, but there's still the same player in there, guys. He's still the same player. G says Pep made changes to try and solidify the stalemate, but Arteta sent players in with instructions to try different things. I think it was pretty extreme version of what we wanted to do. It was. Gunamata says so many rival fans are saying City is weaker, and I don't agree. 100% spot on, bro. Pep got it wrong, and that's hard pill to swallow for pundits and fans alike. I actually think Pep got it right, in the respect that he didn't realize Arteta had got it right too. Hey. And then, so this was a real true stalemate. The game essentially was playing itself to a draw. But I've seen a few of the comments in there. I'm not going to go to who actually said it, but you're a little bit naughty because you said that, we were lucky and that's why we won. I'm not having that at all. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'm not having that, Fran, because we weren't the lucky ones, guys, because they should have had coverage sent off. Yeah. So who was really lucky? That goal for me justified the poor officiating. That's why I'm looking at it like, look, it was a deserved result. And look, guys, we had 12 shots. They had 4. We had 3 times more shots than they did. And while it was tight for both sides, that was a type of game that we were open to. It was a defensive, tactical-minded game. And for years, we've been watching City, Liverpool, and, all these big games in the Champions League. And that's what happens in these games too, guys. They're stalemates. They cancel each other out. So, we're part of that now. We can actually love the fact that we're in it. We're in it to win it. We're part of that elite team.
Yeah, we can do it too. And hopefully we can bring a little bit of that over to Europe, like in our Champions League performances as well, like play the game. I was going to say the final sub as well, Havertz. Hang on. Havertz, when did Martinelli come on? But did I interrupt you? Sorry.
No, you didn't, because I'm trying to think about that too. I think Martinelli came on before Havertz. Yeah, I'm sure he came on before Havertz.
For Nketiah. Oh yeah, and then Havertz, Jorginho was subbed off for no. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What did you think of the subs?
Well, first of all, and the fact that every single one of them was involved in the goal, it was just crazy. Martinelli, his dynamism and the speed caused problems for City. It helped give Arsenal the threat.
Oh, I just remembered. It was he came on just at half time for Trossard, didn't he? Trossard came off at half time.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. You carry on.
That's all right, because Trossard wasn't working, and this is the second time, well, third time actually, Trossard has started the game, and it's not really been working on that left-hand side. And I think people have to sort of accept maybe a couple of things. Last season, when we bought him, I was saying, because he doesn't have pace, he's not good at getting past defenders. But what he does have is he's got that intelligence, he's got the ball skills, and he's more suited to playing the 8 role or sitting just behind the striker. Yeah. And for some reason, Arteta's sticking him out there on an island, and you're not going to see the true Trossard. It's not going to be as effective, and it's a real shame. DW says Trossard came off due to an injury. Okay, so I actually didn't hear about that. So thanks for the info. Has anybody got more information on that? That would be good. KS says Trossard is more of a 10, not an 8. But he can play both. And remember, when Danny Welbeck got injured for 9 games last season, he came in for 9 games, got 7 goals, even a hat-trick at Anfield. So he's that type of versatility that Arsenal have needed. A guy who can come in and play a variety of positions. But do we stick him out there on that left all the time? No, I don't think that's right. I really don't. Chaos, I love Chaos, man. Chaos comes with some good questions. Says, I love that we have to be humble because we are playing at home and didn't really create any clear-cut chances. Yeah, agreed. But I've got to go back to the poor officiating, man. I mean, what on earth was they thinking of? It kind of ruined the game because, guys, remember, Arsenal are used to getting the crap end of the stick, especially playing Man City. You know, remember remember 2 years ago, not last season, the season before that, just before Thomas Partey went to the African Nations Cup and he dominated City. We were by far the better team, and then Gabriel and Xhaka threw us under the bus, and then we ended up losing 2-1. It's just like, we're always going to be that team that plays well. Even last season, played well for 20 minutes. What happened? Tomiyasu makes a mistake. De Bruyne scores.
Yeah.
So we're the team that's always messing up, and you didn't see that in this game.
It's always been after those games. Oh, I'm so proud of the boys. Like, we came out and played our football and stuff, but we lost. Like, we so nearly won against them, though, and we looked really good. No, you know.
Oh, it's just absolutely fantastic, guys. So let's get to our number 5. So this is the 5th thing that we loved about yesterday, and it's Declan Rice. Guys, I just want to say, man, that's what 105 million looks like. That guy is what 105 million looks like. I mean, he has absolutely come in and transformed the midfield, and not in a way that we would think, because we know last season who were the best 3 midfielders: Casemiro, Rodri, Thomas Partey. That was the standard. But I've shown you guys statistically, Declan Rice has been the number 1 midfield, not just for last season, not just for the season before that, but the last 3 seasons. No one's had more duels won. No one's had more tackles. No one's had more passes intercepted. And in terms of second in the league in recoveries as well. So this guy can do it all. He's got everything in there. And I think the only thing he has to develop is his transitional game, which is where Thomas Partey is elite. You saw the ball from Partey to Tomiyasu yesterday, didn't you? That's just something Thomas has in his locker. We were so good last year for the majority of the season because we had Thomas Partey getting the ball from the defense, fighting off attackers in the midfield so no one can depossess him, and then having the ability to transition the ball to either Zinchenko or Odegaard. And that was the key to Arsenal's success last season. And that's why we struggle when Partey's not in the team, because we lose that transitional. Like, it's almost like the communication between the midfield and the final third is gone. And, you know, what's your thoughts on that, Fran? What do you think of Declan Rice's performance?
Absolutely. I think he's been so used to being almost caged in needing to completely control the entire defense of West Ham, and just in that mindset for so long. And now it's kind of like a dog that's been in a cage for ages, and you open the door slowly, and it takes a minute to be like, oh my gosh, I can actually push forward and stuff and explore these areas of the game that he hasn't had the freedom to do at West Ham. And I think we're just seeing him unfurling a little little flower, game by game, growing in confidence. Apparently when he first came here, he found it a bit of an adjustment. How sweet is that? Sorry, that socially he felt a bit awkward apparently, and but we're just seeing him settle in and just get better and better each game, and I can't wait to see him grow. I wonder if he'll be this left 8 when Partey is fit, and be much more of a box-to-box and contributing in the attacking play a lot more. I think he just needs to build his confidence in it, because he's absolutely got the ability. And it's amazing that he can still contribute, but his defensive awareness is just next level. I feel like whenever we're oh my gosh, they might be through here, suddenly Declan Rice is there, bam.
like a Patriot missile. That's what I call him. When I'm in the stands, I say he's a Patriot missile. There was even a scene yesterday where who was it? I think it was it Haaland? It might have been Haaland had the ball, and he was trying to make a break on the left, and Nketiah comes out of nowhere and just explodes on him and puts the ball out of bounds. That the stadium erupted and everyone was screaming, Eddie, Eddie. And it was just, the energy was brilliant.
And then Ben White, when he nutmegged, I can't remember.
Oh, it was so class. And I have to say, guys, we're talking about Declan Rice here, but Ben White was the unsung hero, defensively solid. The way he supported Jesus in the overlap, it destabilized City's back four in terms of them carrying four defenders with giving Jesus more space. Not a lot of people. I think Ben White's the only name I haven't heard people talking about today, which is a shame.
I mean, are we just used to him playing so well, though? I mean, maybe it's because his personality, like he's not, you know, like the front man who's always in interviews. He's like he's barely ever in interviews, and we know why.
I love it, man. But Declan Rice, guys, I mean, we're talking about the future England captain. He's only 24. And as I said to Fran earlier on, Odegaard or Jorginho didn't have their best games. They really didn't. And this guy had to pick up the slack. And boy, did he. I mean, the goal he headed off the line was just like, shut up and take my money. It was one of those moments. It was just like, you know, shut up and take my money. Just sign me up to anything. Anything Declan Rice is doing. Some guy made a comment here. I loved it. Jack Stone says, that's how Rice is with peas on a Sunday. That is so a Jamaican thing right there, man. Rice with peas on a Sunday. I absolutely love it. I
made a stupid pun whilst I was watching with my partner, saying like he's like dry rice, just soaks everything up.
I love it.
You know how you absorb water when you make the foam wet.
And you know what's funny is like I rush my rice, but my daughter soaks it for 4 hours, and her rice always tastes. I know her rice always tastes better than mine. Gunamata says the exact reason why Arteta played Jorginho from the start gives Rice the freedom to run together with Odegaard, and that's why we'll see when Partey is fit. You remember, guys, Partey was only playing at right back because we didn't have any inverted options. Timber got injured, Zinchenko was injured as well, and so that's why we had to kind of do what we did at the beginning of the season. Everybody wants to see a midfield of Partey, Odegaard, and Rice. That's the dream, guys. Yeah. I've just made your evening with that remark, haven't I, Fran? That's the dream.
Absolutely. It's just with Partey, it's like, how long are we actually going to get you before you get another injury? And I hopefully, if Rice is going to play in that more box-to-box role, do you think we have to bring in another person for Partey's position?
See, I'm a big fan of El Nene as well, so I just think, and I've grown to appreciate Jorginho. I didn't like Jorginho when he first came in. I thought it was a smart buy. I thought it was crude and a smart buy. But there are times when he comes on as a sub and he passes the ball around like it's training. And even yesterday, if you look at when we went 1-0 up and there was 8 minutes to go in the game and City was trying to close us down, just give the ball to Havertz and Jorginho. Havertz is such a big figure that no one can get the ball off him. He runs into the corner. It takes 4 Man City players to get the ball off Havertz. And even when he got the assist for the goal. There's 3 defenders around him, and Havertz was like, nah. You see him shake them off, and then they fall on the floor.
It's mad.
It's just listen. I'm a Havertz fan. I'm really rooting for this kid. There's a lot of people that have been giving him a hard time. I'm really rooting for Havertz. That comeback story after his miserable year with Chelsea last season. I want that. That's what I'm rooting for. I want that comeback story.
It's just annoying for people how slow it is, for him to get there. I believe he will get there, but like when you're frustrated but anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, you haven't interrupted me. I mean, because we pretty much got all of our topics out of the way, so we can, we can free flow and chat really. But it's just one of those things that yesterday was. I mean, that's where the magic was. How many games do you get to in a season?
Oh, I've only actually been to. That was my first home game, the Tottenham one. Yeah.
Wow, what a game to go to, the Tottenham one.
I know. It was amazing. We were like so close as well. I was like 5 meters away from where the subs were warming up. So yeah.
Right. So that means we're gonna have to sort you out with some tickets. I'm gonna have to talk to Chia. So we have a sister channel, not channel, but a sister forum as well. So 101, we have a tag forum at the top called Arsenal Tickets, and Chia runs that. And I'll send you the link to it as well.
Cool,
Chia
yeah.
runs that, and anybody in 101 who wants to get tickets readily available, that's the place to go to get them. The one thing I must stress though is there is a lot of people who are you know trying to take people's money and fudge people out of tickets and things like that. So they do a great job in terms of masking all of that. When you go on there, the first thing you'll do is see people actually talking about, is this a trusted source? And most of the people that are offering tickets are trusted sources anyway, because they've been there for years. So I'll introduce you to that as when we finish after the stream,
I
and
don't
then
know how
hopefully.
I don't know how I haven't like come across like you guys at the forum and stuff. I must have, because I've been like active on Arsenal socials, but I must have just been like in just the wrong bit.
The thing is, Arsenal social media is so diverse, and
yeah,
when you look at it, like Spurs have got 6 million Twitter followers, Arsenal's just broke into the 23 million. So we're already Liverpool, Man United, Man City standards. You know, that's where we are, and you could tell how big a team is because of its social media presence. And Arsenal are one of the top in the world in that regard. So
Spurs have got to sit down. They're too loud at the moment.
Gunamat says, I've sent you a WhatsApp. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at it now. You said that. I'm gonna have to look at it. Gunamat is he sent me a WhatsApp. Another. Okay, yeah, we'll talk after the show. Okay, no problem. KS says Havertz is a decent player, but we need exceptional players to win the league and Champions League. Havertz has already won the Champions League, and not just that, but he scored the goal to do it. So I think the one thing, KS, that I kind of do agree with you in a sense, but I'm saying let's understand what type of player we've got, and then Arteta's brought him in because he's seen something in him, and he's 24. So he's at the same age where Arteta's already developing a plethora of players. So let's remember, players don't hit their prime until they're 26, 27. Havertz is 2 years away from that. So really, when it comes to Havertz, I just want us to be a little bit more accommodating, because he still has got a ways to go. And that's all I can really say on the Havertz thing.
He did it with, 30-year-old Xhaka. No one would have thought that would turn around.
Yeah, not including me. Yeah, actually, no, including me, shall I say. Yeah, I wasn't Xhaka's biggest fan.
Yeah, I think just the frustration with the Havertz thing, I'm totally backing for him as well. He's a really cool guy. I think as a person, he's just funny. Like the whole donkeys thing and stuff. I just he's just a weirdo. I feel like I'd get on with him. But I think the contrast is seeing players like Maddison that we were in talks with that seem to immediately be banging and stuff. But who's to say that's going to be sustainable and stuff? But it does add to the kind of frustration, because we want to see the 85 million. Was it 65 million? Yes, 65 million. Yeah. Right now. And he's got this style of play where it's not obvious or in your face. You're saying about all these tackles and stuff, and you actually have to properly zone in on him to actually notice that stuff. I think it's because he just he's so tall and he just kind of moves in slow motion and just pushes that person over. Oh, pushes that person over.
I've got a joke to tell you. I actually haven't told anybody this because I didn't get to meet him. I just thought, what's the point of me saying this? Because, and an average day in my life going to the Emirates is crazy. I mean, I meet so many different people because of 101 and the YouTube channel and everything else. And so yesterday, I stayed way late because I was in club. I wanted to soak it all in. I was like, because I don't get to go there all the time. So I was like, I am not leaving this place right now. I'm getting my beer, I'm getting my wine, I'm soaking it up.
The free sandwich.
Yeah, Anthony Joshua, they had the cook Ainsley, they had all the celebrities in there as well. So I thought, there's no way I'm leaving this now. I'm going to stay behind for a bit. So I was still in there about an hour after the game. So I decided then, I left late. Arsenal Fan TV was over this side doing their thing, so I gave them a little bit of a wave. I used to be on that channel, but not anymore, probably not ever again. But I walked down to where the players were kind of exiting with their cars, and Kai Havertz pulls over in his two-seater. So I looked at Kai Havertz and I pointed to him and I went, "You Yeah, and I gave him the tick. And his wife or his girlfriend, I don't think he's married actually because he had a wedding this year, right? So his wife turns around to me and points to me and goes like that as well. I thought that is absolutely crazy. I kind of really wanted to go and meet him, but he, you know, when they're driving away, you don't want to look like an idiot running after the car, right? Yeah, stop.
No way.
So I didn't want to say anything at that point, but I actually haven't told anybody about it. But since we were talking about Kai Havertz, I thought, yeah.
You know, I actually spoke to this is like my only brush like with Arsenal, but I've got my Instagram. I've got like 500 followers, but I do like my art and the clothing and stuff. And someone reached out and messaged me saying, "Oh, like, can you draw my husband?" And I get that all the time. People saying like, "Oh, can you draw my kid for free?" And I have to be like, "No." But anyway, I was like, I'm meant to know your husband. What is this? And I clicked on her profile, and it's Leandro Trossard's wife. So yeah, she wanted me to do a portrait of him and then turn it into a hoodie for her and her kids. And it's so I did it, and it's like a Team Trossard hoodie, and apparently like they wear it to some match days and stuff. Yeah, so it was great because she said, "Can you draw my husband doing his superhero celebration?" What?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Who is that? Like, what are you on about? And I clicked on it. I was like, no way. It's weird, like little things, like when you don't think they're gonna, when they do like tiny little personal things to fans, it means so much. I think
it means so much. I mean, there's actually another thing that I've got, but I've only told one person, which is Tom Aston. Tom Aston's one of the top contributors on our forum. He probably makes the most posts that you'll ever see. Trust me, you'll get to know Tom very, very quickly because he posts so much stuff. Big Arteta in fan. And I told him what Arteta's kids sing when we sing the Arteta song. Yeah, you know, you know, we talk about oh God, what is it? Yeah, so when we sing the Arteta song, and then we mention, you know, Gina in the back, in attack, we're on our way to Champions League, and they're like, Daddy at the back, no, Mummy at the back, Daddy in attack, and it's just like when you hear these kids. I've only ever told one person before, so it is crazy when you listen to it. It's absolutely
of course nuts. They would, of course they would,
absolutely nuts. And you know, I wouldn't have known any of these things if I wasn't there yesterday. It's absolutely brilliant. Rich Poe says, "Great story, Fran." My guys, listen, the community's loving you, Fran. And this is why I reached out to you last week, because the thing about 101 is when I first, you know, I've been doing it for 11 years, the forum, and the YouTube channel is my 4th year as a YouTube channel now. And when I initially started it, it was always, you know, and I talked about AFTV, so I was on there a couple of times, got really good response. You know, some of the videos I did got, in terms of the comment section, make him a regular, and I had those conversations. But I think this was the time in the Wenger out era, and I didn't, you know, and nothing against, you know, they've done brilliant, they've done amazing, you know, Robbie's been great in terms of that platform, but it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't me. Does that make sense? It was like, I think in the 4 years that I've had this channel, I've only made 3 rant videos where I've been ranting, you know, where like my top has just come off. Because I'm a very positive person. I'm a glass half full. I always look at the bright side of stuff. And when fans tend to dip, I kind of rise and try to lift everybody up. And when fans are too high, I play devil's advocate and try to just drag them down a little bit.
I get the sense though you don't do it in like some people. There's the whole like over positive thing where they won't hear any criticism about a player.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm definitely not like that.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm not tired.
That's what Twitter's like. You can't say anything. So you're like reasonable, but still like positive. So I love it. It's really good talking to you.
Yeah, and the thing is, at some point you get to you'll meet everybody in the forum, and then when we have our panelists here, we've got quite a few guys that does the shows on YouTube. And they're a really good bunch, and they're a very mixed bunch in terms of their narratives, and you know, some of them are towing the line between a little bit on the downside, some of them are towing the line but most are well balanced. I would say that
Yeah.
we don't really have any overly positive guys on the forum, and then we don't really truly have too many negative guys either. I think the balance is just right, and it's great for these guys in the community, and that's what we are. My point is, Fran, that I wanted to set something out that would involve everybody, and that's how I kind of looked at it from the get-go. So 101 is not just about me, it's about the whole community. And that's why when people watch my YouTube videos and it's like, but then you look in the comment section, you see there's a forum, you click on the forum and you're like, wow, there's thousands of people on there and they're all crazy Arsenal fans, you know what I mean? And it's like, then Apollo doesn't seem so important anymore because you've got all this traffic coming in with all these posts, and it's just, I love the community. It's like one of the best things that, you know, I've ever been a part of in my life. And
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm only really like on Twitter. That's kind of all I see like of the
yeah,
Arsenal, and then that is so divisive on there. So I'm looking forward to like just being somewhere where everyone's like cool and
yeah. And the one thing, we do have rules, you know, because, you know, we've come a long way because we've got a lot of female supporters on there, and so we do have rules. People have to watch what they say and how they say it, because, you know, it's difficult. A lot of women I spoke to when I researched it, they didn't want to really say anything because, you know, they were shot down because of what they said, and you don't know what you're talking about and all this because you're a woman and all of that. And it was like, no, yeah, we're not having that at 101. Like, we are not having that. Everybody gets their say, and the women are highly respected in our forums.
I feel like we almost have to overcompensate and like really show like I know what I'm talking about. You always have to overcome like that stigma. So I mean,
not at 101. Not at 101. You'll fit right in.
Okay.
Who's this? Somebody said, "Can I jump on?" Yeah, maybe not tonight, mate. This is one of our guys. He's actually lives in South Africa. Yeah, we got a guy in New York who comes on the podcast. We got La African Gooners in South Africa. La African Gooner, I just wanted this to introduce Fran to the community.
Oh, I've streamed with him before. Yeah. He's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, you know, so he does a lot of stuff with us. So let's do something probably in the midweek. We might do something in the midweek then, yeah. But overall, guy, is there anything you want to say before we close out?
No, I wanted to show like a bit of my art and stuff.
Please do, because I do art as well. But my daughter just went to Hertfordshire University in 3D and art as well, and she done a bit of work with Frame Store. Worked on the Pokemon movie with Ryan Reynolds, Spider-Man 2 and all that. Yeah, so that's what she did when she was in her sort of work experience at Frame Store. So yeah, my daughter's a proper artist. She's designed the logo for 101, and I'm about to launch channel merch, which I know nothing about, and I'm trying to get it done. And yeah,
I know. Speak to me about merch. We'll talk about it after.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Because and the thing is that's one of the things, as you know, I'm a supplier in my day job, so I supply a lot of the companies who deal with all the big YouTubers. So DT and Troops, I know the guys who do all their stuff, so that's who I'm currently talking to at the moment. But I'm still in the middle of mixing it all around. I've got all my designs ready, so I'm just about to explode. And these guys in the forum, they're begging for merchandise, so yeah, I'm about to get that all sorted out.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. I'm really excited about it, man. I'm really excited. So my daughter does all the art, and the music from my videos is actually done by my son. He's a music artist. So
way.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's real fun.
That's mad. I did like music production at uni and stuff, and like the amount of work that goes into these like electronic tracks and things is like unreal. So that's awesome.
He's upstairs right now in his bedroom finishing, because he's going to release a new, about his fourth or fifth tune he's going to release next week. So he's up there trying to put the finishing touches onto it. So he's upstairs working in his bedroom right now, man. But yeah,
like the artist name.
It's all in my it's all in the thing below. Not these live streams, but my normal videos. So the vlog I did yesterday, that'll have the information in there. But guys, look, isn't she amazing? Fran, you were absolutely fantastic. You'll fit right on in with our culture. And I just want you to go into the forum and just dive in and enjoy yourself, because there's so much. You talk about Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's a little bit toxic, especially when you don't know the people. But
I
we've
don't
got a
really
real
use it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a
Go on.
real family environment in at 101, and you get to know everybody's ins and outs. And like I said on the channel, there's a couple of black sheep in the family that we've got there, so you'll get used to those as well. But it's just a wonderful environment to come and express yourself as an Arsenal fan. So I really hope you do enjoy it, man. Steve-O says, I can vouch for Fran's artwork. I commissioned her for a piece and it was brilliant. Yeah, listen, man, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I met you. Yeah, excellent.
I can't believe it. Yeah, just really lucky to see you like pop up in my tiny YouTube channel's comments. I can't wait to get into the forum and stuff. I'm really excited. Yeah.
Excellent. So, guys, what I want you to do is her YouTube channel is in the comments description below in this video. So if you can go to her channel, subscribe to her channel and follow her, that would be amazing. If you do that, I would love you forever, guys. Thank you very much, Fran, for joining us. Really, really good to have you. And looking forward to seeing if we can do some more stuff. And if you need me to come on your channel and do some stuff, I don't mind doing that.
I'm easy.
No
It's all very chill. Some people are too structured about YouTube. I would do this on this day, this on this day. So,
yeah, I wing it most of the time, man. I wing it most of the time. Yeah. Excellent. All right, guys. Thanks, Fran. And guys, thank you in the chat. A lot of your feedback was key today. I hope that we all picked up stuff and explained, especially the Raya thing. The Raya thing was the one thing that we really needed to talk about. And most of you lot are clued up anyway. But I just want you to thank you guys for your patience. Thanks for welcoming Fran as well. That's lovely from you guys. And I'll speak to you in the next one.
Thank you, everyone.